2. Hey everyone, here with Tsire Divyn today for our Warlock Sanctum interviews. They are a paid storyteller, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Tsire, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Nice to meet everyone. My name is Sire Divine. I also go online as Nexus Flameheart. Currently, I am running something like 14 paid campaigns per week, and I have been a professional dungeon master for the better part of a year now, actually.
All right.
Uh,
Go ahead.
no, I was riffing.
All right, so I've been doing paid jamming for about a year now. How long have you been doing games in general?
I have been DMing for perhaps I guess a decade now. I think my first system that I ever really got into was D20 Modern. It is, and it's really dumb because I got into it because I was interested in playing Naruto D20. And that is certainly a system you can try. It has all the things you need to play a game, and I am surprised that it is still going on strong after all this time. But I just got bored one day, and I like Naruto, and I like D&D, and well, now I'm here, so something works.
Yeah, that takes me back. They did that for what, 3.5 originally? I think they have a 5e version now.
They do. There is a Naruto 5e. It's made by a completely separate group. I've actually
Oh, is
seen
it?
the person who does it. Yeah, I've seen the person who does it. I think they're actually on one of the Discord servers that I'm in, but I have not actually spoken to them. But it is a totally different system. I've not touched that one myself, though.
All right, I can't remember who brought that one up. But yeah, all right. Before we get too off topic, what do you think your two biggest strengths for yourself in running games are?
I would definitely say flexibility and mental stamina. Two things that I think every storyteller, fate weaver, historian, um, dungeon daddy, or whatever you'd like to call yourself requires in spades.
I don't think I've heard mental fortitude before either. Interesting. All right. Two favorite systems to run.
At the moment, I'm going to say this is gonna sound kind of sad. I'm going to say that my two favorites are going to be actually Lancer, which I've recently gotten into. It is very much a squishy system, which isn't always my forte, but it happens to have just the right amount of customization to make it feel personal. You can tell that there is a lot of love that went into the system, and you can also equally tell that the fan base is the lifeblood of it. I've said it before and I'll say it again in the future. Sci-fi nerds are built different.
All right. I've heard that one a number of times. I've had a chance to play it once, but it looks like a wonderful system. And what's your second system?
My second system right now is looking like either Pathfinder or Blackbirds. Um, I run Pathfinder twice a week and Blackbirds once a week. Yeah, once a week. And both of them are giving me new and interesting challenges as I've spent so much time with D&D 5e that the thought processes, that the two completely differing thought processes just always make each session a joy.
All right. Is that first or second edition Pathfinder, if you don't mind me asking?
I have only touched second edition Pathfinder, though I have read into and played a little bit of 3.5. So not quite the same thing, but
All right. All right. And is it Lady Blackbird, or are we talking a completely different system that I don't know about?
so there's actually a new system coming out. In fact, just this past week, many of the people who joined and backed the Kickstarter have received their copies. It is made by the same people who made the Sviander system, if you've heard of that one, which is built off the bones of the old Warhammer Fantasy books.
Oh,
And
okay.
it is very much a it's very much a okay, so imagine if Berserk Bloodborne and every JRPG trope you can think of had a baby, and that baby happened to be an eldritch monstrosity, and you're now hitting the right ballpark.
Oh my gosh, and this is called Blackbird?
Yeah, it's called Blackbirds. It is recently coming out. I believe it's set to hit the streets. For those who hadn't backed the Kickstarter or, like me, been lucky enough to find it at Gen Con, uh, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's supposed to be hitting the streets at the beginning of October, if I remember correctly. And I've been having a hell of a fun time in it. We are actually streaming on Wednesday evenings, though not this one due to the lovely little tropical storm hitting Florida.
Oh,
But it has
oh.
been a joy. I love the resource management of it, the fact that it is a deadly world and does not play around, the fact that if you do not think before you act, you can die, and that's just the end of that story. And the fact that every race feels unique in a way that D&D, especially in recent times, just isn't doing, because D&D's current meta is that everyone is a demigod with no limits, and you should expect that.
It sounds really interesting. But I think I've gotten us off topic again. Wow. Um,
Oh, I love that. I'm all about these crazy trains and going off into wild directions. So let me not hold you.
that's fair. That's fair. It's not often someone can bring up a system that I've never even heard of, and this is fantastic. So moving on. How do you make use of virtual tabletops, or do you, for online gaming? Do you mostly do online gaming in this era of the plague, I guess, or end of the plague? I don't know where we are anymore. I hide in my house all day.
Uh, for reference, I spent the vast majority of 2020 to 2022 in Georgia, where about a month in, they gave up on considering COVID a thing.
Oh my god,
So
I'm
while
so
they
sorry.
recognized that COVID was certainly a thing that existed, they also considered the fact that getting money was more important. And so about a month in, everyone stopped giving a damn. I am a homebody,
Huh.
so that didn't affect me too much. But for all of you who are in Georgia, you know what I mean. I'm sure
Wow.
that Florida was similar, but that's for a completely different reason. Florida people are also built different. But to actually answer your question, um, I am I am in love with and practically married to Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I actually didn't start my paid DMing career on Foundry, though. I started with Owlbear Rodeo back in those days, and for anyone who is looking to just start a home game with friends and doesn't want to pay money and just wants to do everything they want to without many issues, Owlbear Rodeo is absolutely the prime place to start because it has all of. Okay, I'll cut the spiel. Owlbear Rodeo is a glorified map making tool with all the bells and whistles needed to play a game with friends, and frankly, that is more than enough for anyone who just wants to learn how to play a game. That being said, Foundry VTT, as I said, practically married to it. I'm very much a tinkerer. I like to take things apart, and when it comes to virtual tabletops, there are just some that make it easy to do without needing to actually know coding. And Foundry is one of them, where just a few Google searches and saying, I wonder what I could do with this. Oh, is there a thing that lets my players just summon their familiars without me having to do anything and give them all kinds of extraneous effects that are beautiful and wicked? Yeah, Foundry's got it. Do you want to make it so that when someone uses a spell, it does like cool lighting effects? Again, just automatically. Foundry's got it. Do you want to make it so that every single thing has its own unique character sheet and we have uh, hundreds and hundreds of games worth of support? Foundry is about 50% there. We have hundreds and hundreds of game worth of support. Whether or not they have compendiums is, well, I have run a multi-denominational World of Darkness campaign before, and I tried, and it was fun. But at the same time, I had to program a lot of stuff on my own. But at least it was easy. Also, lighting works, and that is something that Roll20 is still working on, making not hell.
Hmm.
That being said, shout out to Roll20 for all of you who are still stuck in the grind and in the murk and in the trenches. You are the real MVPs because you have not given up and moved on to other things that would not take you hours and hours, and I love you all for it.
That is a good summary of all those three virtual tabletops. Um, so looking at your profile and hearing about you, you do a lot of Twitch streaming and stuff like that. Did you want to talk about any of that? And what brought you to streaming?
Uh, so it's actually kind of funny. I've only just personally started doing streaming with the Geek.io Media Network as of a handful of months ago. One of my players and my producer, CJ, is the actual owner of the Geek.io Media Network, and uh, even when I had first gotten him on, because he was someone who was just like, I'm looking to join a D&D game. I'm used to it. I've been doing it for a while now. So if you want me to pay join your games, you're gonna have to wow my socks off. And luckily enough for me, I just happen to have the right mixture of pizzazz and personality, and also complete crazy will do anything attitude to catch his attention. And since then we've been like friends. He's been something of my mentor in actually setting this up to be more than just a thing I do on the side, but it's my actual business and profession. And when we started talking about the things that we were both interested in doing together, he talked about how he has this Twitch stream that he does. Usually it's just him playing games, but in the olden days it was him running these tabletop streams. And even at the time, he was running one that I couldn't do because I happened to have a game at the time. We just started talking about, well, we could work together. You're DM. I love being a player, especially in your games. Why don't we see what happens when you DM for us on stream? And we've been doing well, I think, all things considered.
Very
Right
cool.
now, we are running. Mondays are Zviander Flames of Freedom. Tuesdays we have a two Pathfinder games actually. Wednesdays we are doing what's going to be starting in just under an hour, a new D&D campaign for Zodiac Empire. Shout out to Star Called Studios, and then a Blackbirds game which we happen to not be doing tonight. Thursdays are going to be a Pokemon Tabletop United game, as well as another Zviant Flames of Freedom.
Nice.
Fridays is going to be Lancer and then another Pathfinder game, and that is just the things that I happen to be running.
That is amazing. All right, one final question for the interview. Now, I ask this of
Of
everyone. I'm just curious to hear people's answers. You have a group that's going to start, say your night was free and you had a new group starting tonight. You don't know them, they're coming in as a group of 4 or 5. Uh, what do you grab? What do you prep? And what hook do you use to pull them right into this adventure, whether it's a one shot or a campaign?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. I think for me, if I'm starting with a completely new group, um, I
New to
would
you.
go with new to me. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Okay, so do they have experience with any tabletop at all?
absolutely. Absolutely. This is a group of RPGers to begin with.
All right, in that case, then I would definitely start with something like Pathfinder, especially because the lower levels has so much support. Pathfinder has some of the world's best pre-written campaigns, easiest to follow, easiest to understand, and always more fulfilling every time you do them. With that, I have, of course, Foundry VTT. I have all my modules set up. I have just test worlds for when I have these extraneous circumstances, just new people.
Nice.
And when it comes to things that I prep, there is one tool I always use when we're doing a new game for systems like this, and that is I have it right here actually open in one of my PDF readers. The party integration PDF that I found, I think, on r/Arcana, and literally all it is a tool for ways that party members can just know each other, to have a connection with one another for the campaign. Because that's always one of the most awkward things. Because what do you do? Do you meet in a tavern? Are you already friends? Do you know each other? And especially with groups that are not necessarily friends with one another, it helps to have a way for them to have something to hook onto. So you roll a d10 and another dice depending on how many people are at the table, and everyone just gets a quick snapshot of what their relationships with one another are. And if I'm doing the quick and dirty with as little prep as possible, that is the route I would go.
Very nice. And do you have a plot hook in mind, or just based on what the relationships are, build from there?
Oh, it definitely depends. Sometimes I do pre-written plot hooks. Sometimes I look around, I look outside my window and pick 3 items and base it off of that. I have a few Mad Lib style things that I've got prepared, and sometimes I just, when we do these party integration things, the story writes itself.
All right.
Though there is one other thing that I have done if I have more time to prepare for them, and this is something that I've recently started doing. I use tarot cards to do a reading for the plot.
Interesting.
And there is a game designer's tarot book written by, let me see, I also had this open because I use these same tarot readings for the characters in my game that's going to start soon. Yeah, the game designer's tarot for written by Jessica Lee is another book I've been using recently to make some more varied stories.
Very cool. Very cool. It's not often I hear from GM stuff I didn't like. It's usually just tidbit here or there, but I think I've actually learned a lot from this interview of things I've never heard of. This is wonderful.
I will be
Um,
completely honest with you. I started using the game designer's tarot because I bought a Fullmetal Alchemist tarot card set like a year ago, and I was like, might as well use it.
God, this
And I
just
had the
keeps getting
book,
better.
so
Amazing. Is there any upcoming games or current campaigns that you have open seats for that you want to plug before we depart?
I would love another player in our Thursday morning Pokemon campaign, and I'm Pokemon Tabletop campaign, where you all are playing as this new region's evil team. And beyond that, I have and this one is D&D, for those of you who are disappointed in me for not sticking entirely off of the D&D things, or surprisingly wanting to do more D&D. I am soon to be running a brand new, we're going to say Spelljammer, ignoring the conversation that has to be happening on that, campaign on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We currently have 3 seats available for anyone who wants to snap them up. This one will not be a stream campaign, but we will be having a lot of cool effects.
Very cool. Well, it's been good to have you, Sire Divine, Nexus of Fantasy. Is there any closing thoughts you want to send out there before we wave goodbye and I guess meet again someday when I find a new project to do?
Please do keep me in mind for any other projects you have in the future. I love talking and I love pretending that I know what I'm doing. Beyond that, everyone do check out our Twitch streams, and I'll likely be starting a series of how to design a character videos for YouTube in the near future, because that's always one of the roughest things when you're starting a new system and you don't know what to do. So look out for those in the future. I love you all. Guten bye bye.
All right, with that, I will be also saying goodbye. For anyone watching this, all the links will be in the description below. Hope you all have a wonderful week or weekend, depending when you're watching this, and we'll see each other again. Bye for now.